Something's different today, though. Look at that nice little placemat in the middle of this table. After greeting the receptionist, I'm not led to the usual dull meeting room. Instead, I'm taken to a reception area on the top floor. A leather-trimmed sofa, a curved wooden table. Yeah. That word setting.
Looks like this may take some time.
If this was just going to be paperwork and basic questioning, they wouldn't have brought me to this special room. Is it a new case? I have to wait several minutes before someone comes to speak with me. When the door finally opens, a man wearing a suit, not fitting the uniform of a local officer, walks in.
I'm sorry about the wait.
Who on earth is this dude? He hands me his card.
Allow me to introduce myself.
His card has a lengthy title: National Police Agency, Security Bureau, Security Planning Division. Yeah, okay, yeah. I was shocked. They're more commonly known as the Public Safety Police. The Security Planning Division is the command center for departments that handle terrorist threats, coup d'etat plots, and foreign affairs. The secret police also belong to this group. But why would a person of such importance come all the way to a rural locale like this? I look him in the eyes. He appears to be measuring me up.
I see you're enough on the ball that you don't need a lengthy introduction. Good.
Without any further talk, the man gets to his point.
Have you heard of the Kirijo group?
I doubt there are many who haven't.
I'll get right to the point. We'd like to hire you to perform a sub-rosa investigation on them.
Sub-rosa? What the heck does that mean, chat? Sandfox, thank you so much for subbing at Tier 1 for 8 months. Greatly appreciated.
You need a corporation quietly investigated. Why me? I don't see what I can do that your own department cannot.
I would agree if shadows and personas weren't involved.
This time I'm unable to hide my surprise. But the man continues, either failing to see or purposefully ignoring my reaction.
One summer 12 years ago, there was an explosion at the Kirijo-owned Tatsumi Port Island, killing over 50 people.
Oh my goodness, are they gonna explain the plot of Persona 3 to me now? I've already had the plot of Persona 4 explained to me like 8 different times. I played the video games!
You would have been very young at the time.
I've reviewed that case. The official explanation was that a gas main leaked during a construction project. Afterwards, though, a bizarre rumor saw quite a bit of circulation.
The mass media noticed that there was a suspiciously large number of researchers amongst the casualties. They floated the theory that the official explanation was a lie, and that the explosion was really caused by some dubious experiment.
No concrete evidence was ever found to support those claims, though. As I recall, the matter was left unsettled. Some may still remember the incident, though I don't think many could recall the finer points.
Those rumors were all true.
His voice becomes firm.
What?
Those researchers under Koetsu Kirijo, the old Kirijo group manager, were working on harnessing the power of shadows. The experiment went awry, and they lost control of the shadows. That's what caused the explosion.
Experiments using shadows. They lost control? Are you saying the shadows flooded the city? The real world?
I can't speak to that. There was no way of getting hard answers back then. No one took the spooky stories seriously. But that accident got the government and the police's attention, though they didn't launch an investigation until a year or two ago.
Chat, it has started raining where I live, loud enough to where I can hear the rain hitting my my window. Windshield would be in my car, what am I saying? Hitting my window through my headset. So, if I suddenly lose power again, which would be very not cash money, you know what happened. That couldn't be helped. Law can only preside over the world as we know it. Things that can't be explained can't be governed.
Only those in the Kirijo group know exactly what happened and how much of the aftermath was dealt with.
The aftermath?
That word has a bad ring to it. It brings to mind a cover-up of some dark secret.
Their cleanup efforts continued until quite recently. They were using some method known only to them, entirely behind our backs. We think they've been conducting illegal activities in the 10 years since then, while hiding behind their cleanup efforts.
And you wish for me to confirm this?
Not only do you have a relationship with us, you have a persona and extensive experience in the field. We can't think of a better candidate.
And since I'm not directly affiliated with the police, if I were to be caught in a trap, it wouldn't lead back to you.
If that's the way you want to put it.
My reply was meant to be sarcastic, but this conversation is exceptionally draining. I must applaud public safety. They know everything about anybody they choose to investigate. There's no point in trying to bargain with them. He continues explaining indifferently, as if able to sense my resignation.
Last year, in conjunction with the Kirijo group, we established an unofficial department in the force, nicknamed the Shadow Operatives. It's a special unit capable of dealing with shadow-related cases.
This is news to my ears. That's a rather bold move. You went so far as to join forces with the ones you suspect of illicit activities?
That's exactly why we did it. We must keep a leash on them by integrating them into the system.
But the police are far behind information-wise. Officially, you are higher on the chain of command, but less so in practice.
I try throwing out a theory as I begin to get a grasp on what's taking place. The man didn't so much as flinch, but he didn't give me much of an answer either.
You'd need some leverage to keep your hold on them. Thus, this secret investigation. What exactly do you want me to do?
That will depend on your answer.
So that's their game plan. I figured as much. An organization as big as the Kirijo group is hiding the secret about shadows. Now, should I take the job or not? As a person with persona abilities, I'm naturally interested in learning how much is known about the shadows. And this job could potentially give me leverage over the government in the future. I love having leverage over the government! While I'm deep in thought, the man continues as if he can read my mind.
If you think we're hiring you to further our organization, you're mistaken.
I can't help but look up at the obvious change in his tone.
Our sources say it's possible that they've been talking students from the Kirijo-owned school into doing their dirty work. They've been pleading ignorance while making ordinary kids clean up whatever messes they've left.
Ordinary! Ordinary! Junpei? Junpei is what you consider ordinary? Are you kidding me?
And that, we don't forgive. We're supposed to be upholding the law. We can't overlook things like this.
He's surprisingly sincere. He's staring right at me. Unlike before, his eyes are strong and bold. He truly doesn't want anyone innocent to suffer. Of course, this could be an act to convince me, but even then, I do agree with that opinion. All that remains is to find out Kirijo's intentions.
All right. In that case, I accept. Though I don't plan on abandoning my school life here. I'll do what I can to help, but only within those limits.
I would never have dictated conditions like this before. The reason I had come to this town and transferred to Yasugami High School was for my investigation. But the school life and the dear friends that I've gained have become irreplaceable to me. It may sound childish to demand that I stay with my friends, but if they refuse to budge in that regard, that's that. However,
that's fine with us.
He accepts my condition almost too easily. He then immediately begins to explain the details of the case.
At the end of this month, the Kirijo group is airlifting some special cargo. Kirijo has asked our help in making sure the cargo is transported safely. We'd like you to accompany them as a police observer.
What do they mean, transported safely?
A police escort, assurance of no public investigation if any unforeseen situation were to arise. Things like that. Of course, if anything does happen, we will hold them responsible.
And what is this special cargo?
It's something to do with the shadow research. They've admitted that much, but we don't know the exact details. According to our research, it's most likely something from the old ergonomics research laboratory, classified as risk level 4.
I guess they're moving Labris?
In other words, even though it's sealed up tight, it's extremely dangerous.
They even have a risk scale for things like this. Yeah, what does risk level 4 mean? Like, is that 4 out of 5, which would be insanely risky? Is it 4 out of 10, which would be not very risky, but still a risk? Is it 4 out of a 100, which means it's not a risk at all?
Also,
as I'm thinking, the man slides a photograph of the most beautiful woman to ever exist to me. It's a beautiful young lady. Her eyes show a strong will, as striking as her blazing red hair. That hair reminds me of something. I may have seen her picture while going through the documents regarding the Port Island incident. Of course, the girl in those pictures was much younger.
this woman will be on that flight. Her name is Mitsuru Kirijo.
Kirijo.
She's the oldest daughter of the Kirijo family, Koetsu Kirijo's granddaughter. It was he who devised the experiments 12 years ago. You should know that she's also a powerful persona user.
A persona user besides us? I was suspecting something like this, but to hear it out loud is still shocking. So there are Persona users other than those involved in the case last year?
We believe she took the lead in gathering students 3 years ago when she was still in high school. We'd like you to first go to her residence and meet with her.
All right.
I'm sure you figured out by now, since she's a high-ranking Kirijo group official and a Persona user, but she's a Shadow Operative. She's member number 1, the general manager. And not because she's a Kirijo, but because she has the abilities to back it up.
Mitsuru has the abilities to back up any claim.
Can you do this? If she's dirty, then this won't be easy for you.
There is no one cleaner than Mitsuru.
I already accepted your assignment, so I must simply make the best of it.
I offer my hand. I almost couldn't see the eye there. He has the firm grip of someone who's worked on the front lines of the law. You can tell that from a handshake? A few days later, I receive a message informing me that the transport is to be on the 1st of May. It's on a school day, but since I've taken the job, there's nothing I can do about it. In fact, I should be glad that this didn't overlap with the extended holiday. I haven't heard the details, but I expect to have some important arrangements during Golden Week. Arrangements to reunite with my upperclassman, Yu Narukami, who was the leader of our group during last year's incident. I keep thinking about our reunion. It's only been 2 weeks since he left, but it feels much longer. I suppose that goes to show how much I'm looking forward to it. But I'm going off track. I need to think about my new job, so I hastily pull myself together. Did the Velvet Room limo get, like, de-Velvet Roomed at the end of Persona 4, and now it's this? They replaced the wine counter with computers. May 1st, the cargo is due to be transported from a laboratory near the Kirijo mansion. I make my way to the mansion to present myself and end up accompanying the security detail. The limousine is incredibly long. Apparently it isn't all that rare for the upper class in other countries to ride in cars this large, but it's downright comical on the tiny roads of Japan. That was where I met Mitsuru Kirijo in person.
Nice to meet you. My name is Naoto Shirogane. I'll be acting as an observer today.
I've been told about you. It's nice meeting you as well. I'm Mitsuru Kirijo.
Also known as Best Girl. Her beauty is enough to attract anyone's attention. She was so much less imposing than in the picture.
I didn't expect the police's observer to be so young.
Does that bother you?
No. I didn't mean to downplay your abilities. Forgive me.
I take a look at Kirijo-san's face. She's the only daughter of the founding family, but it's been 2 years since she renounced the practice of the Kirijo group being run by the family. In other words, she's simply the CEO's daughter now, not the heir to the company. She must be used to constant stress, being a female leader at such a young age. Getting people to acknowledge her must have been a struggle. I don't need to mince my words in dealing with types like her. I decide to cut to the chase.
Tell me, what are the contents of your cargo?
I'm ashamed to have to admit this, but since the original researchers have passed away, we don't know what's in it either.
It might be a bomb. It could literally just be a nuke.
We can't allow the worst-case scenario for such an item to come to pass in the middle of a city. That's why we plan to transfer these items to a distant facility according to their indicated risk level.
A natural decision. Her posture, her actions. If that was all an act, I must commend her for her ability to deal with the unexpected. But personally, my impression is that she's a trustworthy person. Before leaving, I had a chance to see the Kirijo mansion. I have to say, it's surprisingly simple. It felt as though it was prioritizing function and efficiency over meaningless luxury, perhaps a reflection of her own personality. At any rate, her intelligence and presence are proof enough of her upbringing. If she was hiding something, it would be hard to figure out.
Then I'll stay near the cargo along with the police escort. I'll contact you immediately if anything happens.
All right. If anything is unclear to you, feel free to ask me.
Her eyes look straight at me, and I feel like she could see through anything. I end our conversation shortly after and quietly wait for us to arrive. I will place a bookmark. Thank you. The limousine, transport truck, and multiple security cars reached the airport without any incident. The cargo may be dangerous, but according to the records, it was kept safely in storage for the past 10 years. Plus, it is worthless to the average person. Because of this, the people involved in the security don't look tense. Kirijo-san hands her servant her travel bag. It's almost as if she's simply going on vacation.
Yakushima. Huh.
The plane's destination is one of the southern islands. I'm sure it'd be fun to go with everyone. I realize what I'm thinking and have to laugh to myself. A year ago, I never would have considered that it would be fun to spend time with others. But I can't help but think that way now. Soon they'll begin moving the cargo out of the truck. I clear my mind of daydreams and look back to the truck. They pass through the gate for large cargo shipments. The shipment is in imposing metal cases, but among all the other shipping containers, it doesn't attract much attention from the airport staff. It's not long before the final case is unloaded from the truck. It says Labris on it, yeah. It's obviously different from the rest. It's covered in what seems to be heavy industrial-grade steel. About 1 meter wide and broad and 2.5 meters tall. Seems like something very special is in there, but even if someone was targeting the shipment, it would be impossible to steal that. 4 men in suits slowly tip the case sideways to place it on the cart. Seeing it on its side reminds me of something. It looks like a coffin. The moment I realize that, a shiver runs down my spine. Huh, it does look big enough for a person to lie down in. Could there really be someone inside? Could it be that this tight security is not to prevent theft, but to keep the cargo from escaping? No, how can I imagine things like this without any proof? I shake my head to clear it of these pointless thoughts. Am I just shaken because I heard this has something to do with shadows? Eventually, the check-in process is complete and the announcement to begin boarding echoes through the airport. I relax a little, relieved that nothing has happened up to this point. Once the plane takes off, the only thing in our way is the sky. I had put on an earpiece tuned to the police radio to keep up with the current situation. So far, nothing was out of the ordinary. Kirijo-san's group finished checking in and had boarded the plane. The cargo should be loaded soon. After I supervise that, I'll check in and... Suddenly, an urgent voice jumps onto the broadcast.
The aircraft squawk code has changed to 7500.
7,500.
I have trouble mentally shifting gears after the long period of inactivity. I never imagined I would hear that number with my own ears.
7,500? A hijacking?
Is the plane I'm investigating being hijacked? That can't be a coincidence. Could this have been set up by the police or the Kirijo group? No, there's no benefit for either of them to get involved with the general public. So if that's the case...
Is it the cargo they want?
There really is someone after the cargo. Wait, if they're after the cargo, why hijack the plane? If they're not trying to steal the cargo, could they be after Kirijo-san? No, that doesn't feel right. Hijacking isn't an efficient method to carry out a kidnapping or an assassination. If they have the time and the resolve to pull this off, they would be far better off trying to take over the plane mid-flight. I can't figure out their objective. Why would they do something that attracts so much attention? Attention? This is a very peculiar time to attempt to take over of the plane. Very peculiar indeed. Hijacking before departure forfeits the biggest benefits of hijacking. But at the same time, all normal airport operations will come to a halt while everyone turns their focus on the plane in question. Ah, the airport will naturally stop loading baggage onto the plane while this hijacking goes on. It's the perfect distraction. So they are after the cargo.
If that was the case, the hijacking is only a decoy. But would they really risk their lives hijacking a plane over one piece of cargo?
As I think, I scan the area from my viewpoint up in the boarding area. I see a van that had been parked near the cargo area suddenly peel out. Peel out! A suspicious departure at this time? They probably just realized that they left their oven on. I have a bad feeling about this. Shoot the tires out! But the cargo was just unloaded right in front of my eyes. I didn't see anyone steal it. Hold on. The 4 men in suits with the handcart. I don't see them. I'd lost track of them in the rush of activity after the hijack call. I grind my teeth and interrupt the radio call.
This is 002, over. A suspicious vehicle is leaving the scene. Stay in pursuit. It's a large vehicle, about 2 tons. License plate...
I hear someone confirm with Roger. Roger, Roger. Oh no, it's the Sith. But there's shouting and confusion going on in the background. I'm unsure if my intentions had been understood. I run across the airport by myself. I need to grab hold of these people's tail, even if only to get a few hairs. Of course, there's no way that I can catch a vehicle on foot, but I have a plan. How many of these backgrounds did they have to get just for Naoto's story? I run down the escalator and bolt for the passenger pickup area at the arrivals lobby. I look around outside and... there it is, just as I thought. The suspicious vehicle was coming this way. The airport's road layout is a loop. After leaving the departure lobby, cars must make a turn and curve back around to the arrival lobby before being able to reach the surface streets. I hide in the crowd and wait for the van to get close. And as it passes by, I throw a small sticky lump. Luckily for me, it strikes and sticks low on the van's side. There's a compact transmitter in there. You'd have to be pretty close to pick up the signal, but it's better than nothing. How very Batman of you. I take my hat off and wipe my forehead. The pedestrians around me begin to stir. Everyone stops and stares at their smartphones. I didn't need to look, I knew. The first news of the hijacking is hitting the media. I put my hat back on and pull the brim low. I'll have to be careful not to let all the information flying about confuse me. I keep my guard up as I quickly walk back to the departure lobby.